Young country, Yamami Chief Justice. Somebody in the area who crack. Nyameya Tumua 2028. Power.
Ana Torkornoo, no why bonny, no committee made up of Onuara 2, na judge of one, the colleagues me, or we senior crowd to hey. I can't unanimously say young Pam and Nipan. Any idea what the Babaya campaign?
Not mammy or Coffee. About Ramaniam to a channel per shop.
All right, abusuya ya science asia bia share say dia na ensam no dia ko ne dia bani na na ya tase edi ho enkomo na so far abusuya ensam bebe koso endra me build video a lot of video from NPP camp demonstration e koso ensam e koso na ende Afenyo-Markin nkomo kodi ye ne ensam o kan ye e de na kwakoto asemu Yaw Anokye Frimpong wa baba responding to Afenyo-Markin ensam o kan ye e fa Ghana judiciary system no ana ochiremu a eye ye maame alaba Torkornoo se NPP eba power 2028 a omo science be reverse no ama na ba back to na konya so na sansem no kan ye no ende Yaw Anokye Frimpong say Afenyo-Markin unim se Ghana eye ye court system no eye politics ene ye de yana say over power o science so the eye the Chief Justice ne boni a wadi no o science say omna medi ne boni biem na on say Ghana judiciary system na abusia lawyer ababeto to be e dia mane Afenyo-Markin and then metumi hu say lawyer ne buofu video no e short and shada enwa na lawyer e ka nsem bi ewo mu a wo say ote and then so Ivan Kyei ababedi nkomo innocent ababedi nkomo aka nsem bi e de che MPP fo a o chirem say NPP fo say eye democracy under attack na omo de omo nkai say Tama na omo power na omo cheche eye Ghana generals ni bi Captain Smart ye che no nkofo bebra ya che omo no omo de na enye democracy under attack na abusia Ivan Kyei ababebo na adwen e de che MPP fo aka nsem bi ha eye Ghana Politics TV message send the first time one na ani de mo subscribe e de ama me say the any update bi anso etomu a onso ubenya bi ati na wo share ama afofran so anya bi atie enti abusia kame ho na yamtie eye Afenyo-Markin nkoma odiye efa eye the Chief Justice Torkornoo abra na protest no ekoso no yentie emra
Young country, Yamami Chief Justice. Somebody in the area who crack. Nyameya Tumua 2028. Power. Nobody say Afenyo-Markin. Almost a 24 economy. Anyone to be almost a one job 3 shit. Almost to be arrested. Say ya na kukudra. Ya kaya hupom. Na ya china. Ya papa Dr. Baumia. Ababa power. Na wonso ya day. Uwato. Kukudu. Somupio. Amupio. Power.
Enti abusuya in some way and Afenyo-Markin e kan ye a chese o chiremu a ye maame alaba Torkornoo onka na koma ento ne yam NPP eba power bi mu a omo science so afre no ama na ba be di ne Chief Justice abusuya me say in some way che wadwen e mame because kame ete say Ghana politics no ye dia wura ba bia any corner bia eye politicians e wo bia no ye de ehye ho abusuya na Ivan Kyei innocent ene eye Yaw Anokye Frimpong edun komo na yeni kan entie lawyer Anokye Frimpong in someone Afenyo-Markin eka no respond or the man no yentie
some court in some young Canabontin. No, so quite Chuma district and the Western region was the way Papa was say ensure and the quiet Emma and this is proven by doctors. And the experts. I will be to me one the banana and any will be to me one the banana and sa anyhow. Or be to me one the banana tin one anybody no woman and sana say I want to panio kulote and summer SCC and the cancer abagalam say areas. Not the same way. And yes, be our conference called Bank of Ghana there be no more wire affecting the 35 million people of Ghana personally. Human rights direct. When they are near, as you say, yo, Yesikana, Wafo, Yesika, sometimes men 20, Mitumimo, before Misika free. Now, when they are affecting young class direct. Not that I buy no China, so now you're no Kwanson, ya Solatina, ya China, so that be a China for Ghana for over 15 years to 25 years. That be a Yadima Womu court. Now, you take one them because Omunkuta MPP NDC membership card. Na said Nana could NDC membership card and MPP membership card. Near the Wafambra Kwanso. And also Yadia, Yabaya campaign. And now Torkornoo, no I have Bonnie, no committee made up of Onuara 2, na judge of one, the colleagues meanwhile, or we are senior crowd to hey. I can't unanimously say Yam Pam and Nipan. And the idea what the Babaya campaign, so Oba reverse it. Let us say a judicial decision, no, what the political decision had overturned. And the answer called Rollins time before the constitution came. Before the constitution came, military dictator, no Pebia, no ye. In the answer, constitution and farm change, near and the Guasia said, million no man, these MPP for him, Guasia said, cow, nobody took nobody one class. And they said, Rollins here, constitution, Tantan, where the 1992 constitution, a full cry. Military constitution and yet one more baby a 8 years a kufu pay fee.
Yeah.
And now one more time by 8 years a kufuado. Omina lawyer for a kuku dam woman nisaso. A woman 1 pay fee. The same NDC no we are constitution Tantino. Rollins free what their next president of Mills. Or the next council of percent or so no one in the constitution and yet another time I was saying President Bio Mahama, I know that was sunny. Now, Mono bad, I dear some Yama or man, Munya, Yamamo 8 years under Kufuado. Said you are going one with you one them. Want to be a Nini Pano, Assam. I'm Attorney General for Fraba, who was still one time free. Attorney General for Fraba, who says, I will be a Nima or Bokes in a degree. Now, I buy for Frabada, more did this Icano in less than 1 year. What you might hear, you might more minor who resort. I don't say idea the Quaquaya campaign war, CPSO. Now, Quacabi, Bibaka, not here and Pachamimi, CPP, Minian DC, no Crano, and that one make us say, the dear Koreanima woman to me, now you be back, no, Yana Juma, now fair watch channel. What out is up to go back at him. Woman, you go no more appeal.
Yeah.
Nabakuya Najin so PFS. No more can ask Shana one and no what out 20,000 years. No more bewu our bucket in a B and MPP area.
Enti abusuana in someone lawyer Anokye Frimpong obeka ye na ye move na ye nkotie eye Ivan Kyei innocent in someone ono so obabeka afa MPP eye democracy under attack no yentie emra meso so be subscribe amami.
Station demonstrations are legitimate democratic tools any dissatisfied individual can just employ to air your whatever dissatisfaction that you have. Even at a time when the state sought to neutralize this constitutional guarantee through the MPP versus the IGP, I think the Supreme Court reaffirmed this constitutional guarantee that any individual within the state has that particular right to ensure that whenever you are dissatisfied with the state of play, you can demonstrate. So when you talk about demonstration in our current dispensation, it is not a matter of constitutional validity, but it is a matter of course of action, whether it can be rationalized within a reasonable context. For me, that is the position that I have. So from where I sit, I have always maintained, and I will quote Kwaku Baako any day, I will choose the ugly noises over culture of silence, because in a democracy, the differences in our opinion lies the fiber that is required to nurture and grow our democracy. So at any point in time, I will encourage the young people, everybody will be part of this conversation, because that has always been my advocacy. I want young people to be part of this whole political conversation, because we cannot bequeath our future in the hands of people who will be living tomorrow to decide the future for us. Young people need to take a greater part of this whole conversation. But you see, when we talk about all these things, it is also a matter of credibility of the actors in question. I remember very well about a few years ago, there were a series of cascading criminal events happening in this particular country, which some of us sought to complain about. That, for instance, if you look at the attack on some of the gentlemen, there was a gentleman called Kaka. We remember the circumstances which led to his death. These were some of the concerns some of us had about democracy then. We complained, but we were labeled Sambalat. At some point in time, they said we were anti-government enthusiasts. We were just enemies of state, you understand? But so if the actors, under those circumstances today, turn around to complain about certain things, then the question is a matter of credibility. Because this whole demonstration thing is to push sensitive issues to the forefront of public debate. It's not for you, it's not for the MPP, but it's for the Ghanaian people to accept that indeed you have a reasonable course of action, and we will help you to propagate this particular matter. But the question is that you will fail to realize there was a problem when these things were happening. For instance, Gregory Afoko was kept in prison custody when even the court gave the green light for him to be removed. He was kept there for almost 7 good years. Was democracy under attack? This individual, nobody saw that there was the need to intervene at that point in time. It got to a time journalists were being hounded. My brother made mention of, I was in the studio with Captain Smart when national security bumped into the studio and he was whipped away. Democracy wasn't under attack. So those of us who complain about those circumstances, then we may have every right today to complain if there is a problem. You understand? And if I'm to...
But in the same vein,
okay,
those who criticize then,
yes,
do they have the right to today support those actions?
That's what they only interrogated
those
and left him.
Who criticize the actions then?
Yes.
Do they have the right to support it today? Yeah. I'm asking that because you are not...
Yes, but I think the magnitude of this whole complaint is more of an partisan emotional speculations, because I don't think democracy under the current dispensation is under attack. Because yesterday they were able to walk free to the Jubilee House in a country where the state is being accused of like a certain climate of terrorism has been activated. You cannot walk to the Jubilee House in the midst of police being protected and then present a petition. You understand? So for me, the MPP, the angle they are coming from, you can understand, because when you're in opposition, some of these things are things that you can easily complain as an opposition party. But sometimes it's not just about you. You need to situate your grievances within the context where the ordinary person can reason with you. Because that is the only way people can find substance in that kind of argument. But if we beyond the political fold, nobody can rationalize whatever your complaints are, then I think it becomes a problem. For instance, they are complaining about the Sedinam issue. I was on your platform and I mentioned that whoever hears this whole acquittal thing within the political context will get angry, because even if you look at the environment we find ourselves. But on the other side, if you go pick the judgment and read, no person of sound judgment will read that particular ruling and come back to the same conclusion or the same kind of idea as before. It means that something actually went wrong. And today, if people are demonstrating because Sedinam has been acquitted by a high court and the MPP has made a press conference and promised the people of this country they are going to do everything possible to back Dr. Bawumia in his ongoing trial. So at the end of the day, if the high court, his ongoing appeal, the appeal that is about to be filed, no, I'm referring to Wuntumi. Wuntumi's appeal. So let's say in the next month or few months to come, if he gets acquitted, are they going to demonstrate on that? You understand? So we need to establish certain principles, the way and manner we do our politics. And if you go to the social space, for instance, if you go back to 1990, nobody will be complaining about social media. But where we are, the social space has become increasingly available, a platform we used to do politics, and it is even larger than the traditional media we know. So this particular space cannot be left unregulated. A lot of people do a lot of stuff on social media, but how many of them have been arrested? unless you prohibit or you do anything that contravenes the established rules of engagement. Once you do that, the security will come after you. And it is not in my brother's place to determine what constitutes national security threat or not. The security apparatus have that particular mechanism.
But isn't the law about your utterance causing, having the potential of causing chaos amongst the public? That isn't that the basis on which then we can say you've engaged in I've forgotten, but you've engaged in probably a potential criminal activity, and therefore you have to pick up.
So who does that assessment? Is the security?
Yes, but the question a lot of I read from some lawyers who were asking was, for example, the person who said that how does that again, the lady was picked up for saying that the government buried 32 cows or so. Yes. The question they were asking was, how does that cause chaos?
No, you see, disinformation, misinformation under the current arrangement constitute certain crimes, you understand? And for me, the gentleman who said Dumso has returned, I on several occasions condemn his arrest, you understand? Because in all these things, we can also condemn the police. But very often, the police is substituted for the government. So where the police is to be criticized for their inactions, omissions, we tend to insert the government there. That seems to neutralize the whole conversation, you understand? There are some bit of unprofessionalism on the part of our police. Sometimes the way they react, they resort to certain command. So on a good day, all of us as Ghanaians can sit down around the table and have that conversation, how we can ensure that this kind of civility and professionalism prevail within the security architecture. But if you tend to do it partisan, if you blame somebody today, somebody will flip the coin and have millions of accusations on you. So I think the credibility is what is a problem today, you understand? So I think we need to frame the conversation in such a way that people within the people outside the political scope can find reason and understand that we really have a genuine cause of action, and people will accept the conversation. Else, it remains mere partisan emotional speculation that will find no grounding in any substance, and it will continue like that.
Let me bring in Professor Tatos Beyo there. He is a politician.